Do you want to ruin your entire life by stacking up $1 billion of debt? Do you want to feel the freedom and convenience of prancing off your flight directly into the comforting arms of a gambling booth? Do you want to breathe in the pure carbon monoxide of a city which removed all its trees last year, alongside all the homeless people who the city officials allegedly murder? Do you want to see fake Paris and fake French people? Do you want to see what Venice would look like if it had no history, no culture, but still the same amount of dumb tourists? Do you want to be glared down upon by these cloud-tickling dystopian monoliths of purebred capitalism? If so, Las Vegas is the place for you. And I'm not joking, like seriously, this Samsung ass emoji will genuinely look down on you sleeping, as long as you pay the extra $100 for a sphere room view. You know, in some bits of the world you can pay extra for a beachfront view, an old town view. Well, over here in good old Sin City, you get to look at a glaring neon advertisement board, which at least looks a lot better from your hotel. I mean, look at the resolution when you stand right by it. I swear that's 144p, bro. My favorite thing about the Las Vegas Sphere, which for anyone that somehow doesn't know, is this massive indoor 360 cinema. As long as you don't buy the cheap tickets, then it's more like 180. Now, the outside of this light up sphere is covered in screens that essentially act as a 24-hour advertising mega billboard. Anyway, something I specifically like about this sphere is how they currently only play this one film, which was made specifically to be shown at the Sphere. This entire film is based around why climate change is bad and why as humans we need to be more conscious of our effect on the world, less lavish, excessive, greedy, and it centers on how our great human achievements shouldn't disintegrate the importance of protecting, sustaining, and maintaining our green planet. Do I even need to explain how fucking hysterically, contradictingly ridiculous this is? To even think that people walk out of that fucking beaming neon bullshit bubble thinking to themselves, wow, I really did something good for the world by watching that documentary about climate change. I really feel like I'm one step closer to helping out Mother Nature here. It makes my blood boil. The sheer existence of the Sphere has got to literally be one of the worst concepts in terms of climate change anyone has ever dreamt up. The pure amount of electricity this nauseating blob requires to be on 24/7 blasting ads and dumb emoji faces to the entire city of Vegas is unprecedented. Even if you think climate change is fake, you can't deny this bullsack of a project is hypocritical and stupid. They're even trying to build one in London, which, come to think of it, would probably really piss off the ultra-rich gentrification masters that live in these luxury Stratford high-rises, and therefore I completely support the Sphere London. To give you a clear picture of how morally hollow and contradictory this whole Sphere project is, I thought I'd include a clip of someone who went there and is describing the film.
At one point, the narration even says the line, "We were so blinded that we didn't want to see any light but our own." So, we're in a building wrapped in lights right now. Like a Guinness Book of World Records amount of lights. If any building were to be an example of us being blinded by our own light, it would be the brightest building we've ever made.
But it gets worse, guys. It gets so much worse. At the Sphere, they exclusively have one band playing concerts, and they play most nights. The one and only U2. Yeah, you remember the guys who got Zuck to force their mid-ass album into everyone's compulsory iTunes library back in the 2000s or something. Yeah, they've just always been ahead of the curve when it comes to gross, greedy, dystopian shit. I don't even know how people can stay awake at the U2 concert for 2 hours and 15 minutes. I can probably stay awake until they play that one okay song they have. After that, I'm out cold, bruh, sorry. U2 putting the capital L in Las Vegas Sphere. I really do think Las Vegas is just a big playground designed for stupid man-children who want to burn money for a laugh. Be that gambling, be that the countless stupid mega projects in this city, which is kind of cynically amusing until they try play it off like they're doing something good for the world by spreading awareness about climate change or fixing the traffic pollution. And that's right, I'm talking about Elon Musk's The Loop. Ladies and gentlemen, we are literally living in the future. Now, instead of sitting around on those inconvenient, noisy, slow, old-fashioned, uncool things called metros, you instead can use the Loop, Elon Musk's innovative, new and improved version of a metro. Don't worry, it has none of those silly trains. Instead, you and all your tight shirt cladded lads go down the escalator with butterflies in your creatine filled stomachs, pay the $5 fee, that'll be $25 for all of you. You sit yourself down, all comfy, in a plastic squeaky Ugandan child murdering Tesla. It then self-drives you 2 minutes down the road, at which point you and all your finance bros hop out giggling like little children hopping out of a spooky fairground ride, because that's what you are to me, a fucking child. Oh, also you have to put up with constant delays and standstill traffic jams due to this service being so popular with Daddy Musk dick riders. Oh, also the autopilot doesn't work, and actually nothing is automated at all, so you just get picked up and driven down the tunnel like a little baby boy on the way to preschool. Oh, also the tunnel is literally just a road, not this high-tech system Big Elon promised, and literally the only difference between the Loop and being driven down a public tunnel in an Uber is that if some kind of a problem arises in the public underground road, you and your driver can just walk to the nearest emergency exit and be safe and sound in under 2 minutes. If something happens in the Loop, you are fucked. There straight up just aren't emergency exits, and the entire evacuation process is speculated to center solely around the Tesla chauffeurs reversing out in perfect unison. I can just see that going so well, especially since Teslas have a bit of a goofy habit of setting on fire. Around 40 million people visit Las Vegas every year, making it one of the USA's biggest money pots, consistently sitting at around the 5th most visited city in America. And it made me think, because literally when you look up the dystopian soulless Las Vegas sphere or the 12-lane ugly Las Vegas strip, literally 90% of the search results that come up are super biased and are just hell-bent on selling you a packaged Sin City holiday. And if that type of media doesn't appeal to you, I have just the thing for you: Ground News. I've been using Ground News as it's a website and app that is specifically designed to give readers a transparent way of consuming the news. With access to over 50,000 global news sources, Ground News allows you to compare headlines, their owners, and where the bias leans per article, giving you a complete overview of every story. For example, take a look at this story on how a UK judge just dismissed Trump's lawsuit over MI6's report on him. On Ground News, I can see this story has been covered by more than 162 sources, of which the majority are either center or left-leaning, with only 14% of sources covering this story being right-leaning. Interesting. When I scroll down, I can compare every article about this topic, and beside every headline there is a tag showing me the political bias, reliability, and ownership of the source. And on the right, I can see it virtually displayed on the bias distribution chart and the ownership chart. This headline on the left is focused on how this is another loss in court for Trump, highlighting that he has been losing lots of legal battles recently, making the Republican Party look bad. Whilst this right-leaning headline focuses more on how this dossier was funded by Democrats to damage Trump's reputation. One of my favorite features of Ground News is the blind spot feed, which highlights stories that are disproportionately covered by one side of the political spectrum, such as this story: Jan 6 rioter who flipped officer over ledge sentenced to more than 6 years in prison. This has conveniently been covered by 0% right-wing sources. Using Ground News' Vantage plan has made the news way less stressful to read. It weeds out all the clickbait, and I know what headlines I can trust. Go to ground.news/geopol to check it out. Subscribe through my link to get 30% off the Vantage subscription for unlimited access to all the best features like the blind spot, or get the pro plan for less than $1 a month. When you subscribe, you're supporting both me and an independent platform trying to make the news more transparent. Anyway, I don't know, something about this place makes me feel a little nauseous, man. Everything's too shiny, everything's too gimmicky and perfect, everything's too clean. Feels a bit like Dubai, where all the gross, yucky problems just get pushed away out of sight so cringe influencers and delusional holiday goers can enjoy this sparkly city. Well, you might not be surprised to hear that's exactly what Las Vegas are doing. Let me explain, okay? Let's say you go on a holiday to Vegas. Once one of the two big casino empires entice you into their establishments, using anything from flashy lights to sports sponsorships to cheap hotel rooms to reel you in, they will give you free drink after free drink after free drink until you're inebriated enough to gamble your entire life savings away. Once they've skinned you for every last shilling you've got, the casino kicks you out of your nice hotel room. And yeah, in Vegas, all it takes is a little coercion and a little bad luck, and boom, you're home homeless, with no money, no flight home, and they even took your fancy hotel slippers, bro. You try crashing out on the street, but because you look all dirty and off-putting to all these tourists, you're instantly slapped around and moved on by a casino worker. And the next day, you get the same shit from a policeman. That's because 5 years ago, Las Vegas officials passed a law making it effectively illegal to be homeless on the street. If you're caught in Las Vegas, camping, lodging, sleeping, lying down, or even sitting in most downtown areas, you first get a misdemeanor, then next you get 6 months in jail and a $1,000 fine. This just makes the homeless problem so much worse, since slapping these people with a shit ton of debt doesn't exactly make it easy for them to financially recover, does it? And this law means Las Vegas's homeless population are literally forced off the streets into the city's vast underground sewage and drain networks. Yes, there are an unprecedented amount of homeless people living under the streets of Vegas in these storm drains. These people are commonly referred to as mole people, like they're subhuman or something. And the majority of these mole people are suspected to have ended up down there due to gambling addictions. Now, the city officials are completely aware of this and are also completely aware of how scary, dangerous, and unappealing it makes gambling look. They want the media to promote stories like Robert, who went in with $40 and left with $200K. They do not want the media to promote stories like Stephanie, who went in with $4 million and now lives in a constantly pitch black, rat infested, slimy, stale, rotting storm drain just meters away from one of the world's flashiest, most luxurious cities. This is a bad look for the city officials, and allegedly they've therefore been known to open the floodgates with no warning, which causes the tunnels to rapidly fill full of water, and you can imagine what happens to the unfortunate people who live there.
A violent river of water rips through these tunnels, taking everything in its path with it. Get caught up in this, and you'll most likely not live to tell the tale. Water all the way up to the ceiling.
All the way 30 foot high. It's coming out solid all the way, yeah.
The casinos love to open the floodgates when we least expect it.
So you're telling me when it isn't raining, the casinos will open floodgates and...
Yes.
And if this is the case, the city officials and casinos are creating homeless people through legalizing and promoting gambling, then forcing them into tunnels by underfunding homeless shelters and making it illegal for them to be in public, then killing those people off by opening the floodgates.
Allegedly.
But bro, you're missing the point. This fake version of Venice is so squeaky clean. The Las Vegas Strip is so picturesque. No gross homeless people trying to steal my shit. No dirty public transport nonsense. And their Squid Game VR experience is everything I've ever dreamed of. I mean, mate, you really want a Squid Game virtual reality experience? Try being homeless in Las Vegas. It's literally no joke IRL Squid Game out there. But honestly, it's really no surprise the city has a bit of an ugly side, to say the least. I mean, the place was literally formed as a railroad stop where naughty West Coast businessmen and sinful Mormons could get the train to and partake in all the vices that were illegal or frowned down upon throughout the rest of the USA. Drinking, gambling, prostitution, fighting, etc. I mean, it's nicknamed Sin City for a reason. And whilst nowadays the city keeps up a super OCD clean facade, it definitely has an ugly, grimy, problematic side. Anything from massive bedbug hotel infestations to makeshift sewer housing you can find in this city. However, overall, Las Vegas is pretty much just like Disneyland for degenerates. It's like one big resort for immoral humans, a playground for adult losers. I mean, like literally, you ain't beating those machines, bruh. And the unique thing about this mega resort is how easily it sucks people in. The casino hotels are dirt cheap, the flights are dirt cheap, but don't fall for it. There's 2 casino companies and they literally own everything in Vegas. You're gonna touch down in LAS, give it a couple hours, and you'll be mystically completely roped in, drooling over a blackjack table with your 5th $500 cigar in your hand, blissfully tapping away your life savings like the other NPCs in that warm carpet-cladded room. Before you know it, you check the time, 17 hours have passed, you're $238K in debt, your family have all disowned you, and you've got nothing left to do but follow the faint echo of you two, stumbling closer and closer till you've got nothing left to do but stare up at that ultra-low resolution, beaming orb of hope, because the sphere is the only thing you can turn to. The sphere is your only remaining friend. The sphere is the only thing you have left.